Do you have to provide breakfast? Airbnb, B&B, bread and breakfast? Do you have to? We're gonna talk about that on this video. This is very important. Let's go. Okay, we're going to talk about, do you need to provide breakfast? Will this help? Will it hurt you? We're going to get into it and I'm going to tell you exactly how you should know. Number two, we're going to discuss that there is a big difference between B&Bs and Airbnbs. I'm going to tell you the difference between the two because there's a really big difference that you need to know. And then last but not least, we're going to go through the secrets to making guests happy with or without breakfast. Okay, so let's get started. Let's first talk about what Airbnb is before we really, because this is the important part, honestly. If we're talking about breakfast, we got to talk about B&B. So Airbnb is the #1 home sharing platform there is right now. So they allow people to list properties on Airbnb and charge a nightly rate and make some extra money. Additionally, guests have the opportunity, instead of staying in a hotel, they get to stay in someone's actual home with or without the person being there. There's so many different ways that you can do Airbnb. But the name, let's talk about where the name comes from, because the B, one of the B's, traditionally stands for breakfast, okay? So a B&B, a bed and breakfast. That is what most people think of when they think of B&B. But let's talk about Airbnb. So the company Airbnb, like I said, is the #1 home sharing platform. And the way the company started, which is actually incredible, they started by putting an air mattress in their property in San Francisco, renting that air mattress out to people and then making some money where it was able to cover their rent. Okay, we know that rents are very expensive in San Francisco. So these young snappers found a way to put an air mattress, rent that air mattress out and start making some money. So that is where the term comes from. It was like an air mattress, bed and breakfast. But when we're talking about Airbnb today, it really does not include breakfast per se. Now it can, and we can talk about that. But usually now we are not talking about a bread and breakfast. We are simply talking about normal people, you and I, listing normal properties, not a hotel, but just a normal property, our apartments, our houses, our pool houses, our basements, whatever it may be, listing those properties on Airbnb and making some money. So let's talk about what you need to do to get that money. So with a B&B, a bread and breakfast, most people actually have a business around this, okay? So we are not talking about just a normal Airbnb. Let's quickly talk about a B&B, a bread and breakfast. This is an entirely different business. This is where I may have a really nice country home and, maybe I put all of the rooms and I decorate them really nicely and I invite maybe couples to come, and me and my family or me and the company, we provide them a nice experience, maybe like a honeymoon, okay, or for married couples that want to reignite their marriage. That is typically what a B&B is for. An Airbnb, not so much, baby. An Airbnb is what most people, how I got introduced to Airbnbs as a guest, is wanting to have an entire place that me and my family could stay at. So when we first started the Airbnb thing as a guest, me and my family would go and rent out entire homes around Disney World. So every single year we would vacation in Florida, okay? And we would go to one of the major parks, but we did not want to stay in a hotel because we had so many kids and it was super expensive. So once we kind of got into the fact that we could rent an entire house where my kids could spread out, where we could spread out, where we could be very comfortable, where we could go grocery shopping, where I could cook, where we could have a pool, whatever the situation may be, it changed our vacations. And this is what people are looking for today. So you have big families, even a person with 2 kids, they'd much rather stay in a house or an apartment that everyone can spread out versus a tiny little hotel room. Okay, but now we also have people that travel for work. We have a lot of people that travel for work and they are looking for entire apartments and they don't want to stay in a hotel. We have people that want to move a lot. They don't want to get locked into a long-term lease. So people use Airbnbs to stay at for months. Okay, I literally have had Airbnbs and my guests come to my properties on Airbnb and stay in there for months while they looked for a house to buy, okay? So Airbnb has changed the game. There are so many people looking for properties and they are not wanting to stay in a hotel. People have changed, the economy has changed, and the market has changed, and you can make money doing this. So because people have changed what they're looking for, and Airbnb has offered this place where people can get entire places or just rent a small room in someone's house, you know, while they're traveling, they don't have a lot of money, they don't want a whole hotel room, they just want to spend a few bucks and be in a great area. This is what Airbnb is for. So with all of that said, did you hear anywhere in there where I said that you need to make breakfast? Well, not. And did you hear anywhere in there where guests were expecting breakfast? Yeah, probably not. Like I said, we rented Airbnbs because we wanted the whole house to ourselves. More than anything, we didn't want someone to cook us breakfast. We wanted a place to cook breakfast, okay? We wanted a place where we could buy groceries and then put them in the refrigerator without having them spoil so that we could have a more economical vacation for our family. Additionally, if you're staying somewhere a very long time and you're in a hotel, you want to be able to cook. And I'm sorry, some of those extended hotels, they are not the same as the Airbnb, and they do not offer a full-size kitchen that is comfortable to cook a meal for a whole family. So this is what guests are expecting, not necessarily breakfast, but a place to cook the breakfast and a place to store their groceries. So let's talk about what you do need so that you can make all the money on Airbnb. So instead of trying to cook people breakfast and provide breakfast, what you need to provide is the space that they can do it, okay? Most people on Airbnb that are booking an Airbnb are looking for the space to be able to cook breakfast, okay? So you need to have a refrigerator, you need to have a stove, you need to have pots, pans, plates, and forks, and knives. Essentially, you need to have the things that they would need. Now, you don't have to provide the food, nor do you need to cook the food, but you have to have the stuff that they need so that they can do it themselves. That is what you're going to need to be able to provide in order to create that 5-star stay for people, and that's how you're going to make a lot of money on Airbnb. So there you have it. Do you need to provide breakfast? Probably not. I've gone through all of what you need to do and what you do need to provide and given you some amazing tips on how you can start making a lot of money on Airbnb without providing breakfast. So go ahead and take this moment and like this video. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Make sure you click that little notification bell so that you do not miss any content. I have a free course right here on YouTube just for you. Make sure you watch all of the videos in this playlist for you. I just want you to be successful to your success.